when the audience sees It's Alive, It's Alive, I dearly hope that they feel a kind of relief from the tension of life nowadays, that they feel almost a kind of illicit escape from the conditions of having to live so carefully and so cautiously day to day, with their masks on, with having to, behave in a certain way in order to stay healthy and keep their families healthy, in the toxic politics of the day coming in and intruding on this situation. So it adds just a whole other level of something to be depressed about. We offer It's Alive, It's Alive as both an escape from that and also a demonstration that it is still possible to make work that's really immediate and that really speaks very directly and very personally to what we're all experiencing together, and that hopefully with the gift of laughter, we can blow off steam together and feel a little bit closer together and a little bit more bonded in our lives, as opposed to so separated and fractured, as we are normally encouraged to feel. Hello, everyone. This is David Schweizer. I am a theater and opera director of many years standing, and in this interview, I share with you information about my current project, It's Alive, It's Alive, performed and written by John Fleck at the Odyssey Theatre. It's Alive, It's Alive, the new theater piece that John Fleck has invited me to collaborate with him on, is not unique in terms of John Fleck's work, because his work almost always combines comedic performing, almost clown performing, almost commedia type performing, musical aspects, singing songs, direct relationships with the audience, and a provocative theme or title or basis, urgent basis for doing the piece. So in this case, John and I got together thinking about in early pandemic. It's I don't know what it says that we're now talking about early pandemic as these years have slogged by, but we were both here in Los Angeles, and we both had relationships with the Odyssey Theatre. I had recently sort of returned to the Odyssey Theatre to do a musical by Gertrude Stein and Al Carmine's called In Circles, which was part of their tribute to the theater of 50 years ago season that they did like just before the pandemic. And at first I said, "Oh, did you call me because I'm old enough? Do I have any other qualifications?" But I had a wonderful time going back there and doing this musical. And John and I became particularly close to Beth Hogan, who runs the place now, along with Ron Sassi. And we talked about how to mount a performance piece, a piece that was actually performed live and not just seen over Zoom or something. And, that could also be, safe for people to come and see. And so we had this idea of doing a piece in the parking lot of the Odyssey. Actually, that theater across town didn't like steal the idea, but had more money to do a real version of the idea. And what is it called? I don't mean to be condescending by forgetting their name, but they did the Octoroon, and they have a very beautiful new space in their parking lot. So we didn't discontinue that idea just because of that, but it also started to seem like the pandemic was kind of ebbing enough so that people could, with masks on in a controlled situation, come indoors. So we already had the piece created, and it directly addressed and continues to address the COVID situation. I mean, there's a character in it, a primary character in it, played by John, who is literally a COVID germ. He has a big glass helmet on his head with little spikes coming out of it, and he prances around. He's a somewhat rarefied character. He's extremely sensitive. His feelings are hurt very easily, when people don't want to invite him in. It's that kind of thing. There's another character called Proud Boy, who's a fierce, like, anti-vaxxer, Proud Boy. Enough said. And these kinds of different concepts are thrown around. And the audience, we had a workshop engagement at the Odyssey in the fall. And, some people said, I don't feel right coming yet. Thank you. Good for you guys for doing this. But, many others came. It was a sellout, even though in a tiny theater. And they loved it. They went nuts. I mean, it was a source of release. It was the kind of thing you could sit in a theater, and these tensions and this craziness that you'd been dealing with all these months was being demonstrated, made relentless fun of. No stone was unturned. No one was spared. So we thought, well, first of all, it was really great because, we hadn't done anything in such a long time. And the audience had not, this was literally their first time, like, out of the house in many instances. So then, with lots of postponements and rebookings and calculations about the COVID situation, we're back for a longer engagement. And, we'll see. I mean, I'm looking forward to another, explosive, responsive response. And so is John. It's a different time now. We're all a lot more weary. The new variants have meant that it's much easier to catch the damn thing. I'm astonished that I have not, but then I also sailed through the AIDS plague some 30 years ago. So I guess I might be one of the lucky ones. I don't know. I'm knocking on the wood you don't see in the lower in the frame here. But we're going for it on all the levels that worked so well before. Extreme cognizance of the situation we're all living through, and then balls out satire of that same situation. And that's why John literally calls it "It's alive, it's alive." It's obviously a takeoff on horror movie when they see the monster and go, "Oh, it's alive, it's alive." But it's also, we're alive, the theater piece is alive, etc. Welcome, everyone. I'm David Schweizer. I'm the director of It's Alive, It's Alive, a new theater piece by the extraordinary performance artist John Fleck, with whom I've worked repeatedly over many decades. The piece is a hilarious COVID satire. And if you think that's a contradiction in terms, come and see it. It will be an experience dealing with contemporary life unlike any other that you will have. And there will be a lot of laughter, believe me, about surprising things. It's at the Odyssey Theatre on weekends only. I urge you to come and see it. It's a unique experience that you will not forget. So enjoy it.